Hi, I'm Rick Dior, and today I'm going to tell you about the display sticks I make. So these sticks are not necessarily playable. They may have issues. In other words, one might be a different pitch than another. One might be more than my tolerance of heavier than the other. My tolerance for heaviness is within 3 grams. I try to usually get it within 1 gram or exactly the same. You cannot really feel 3 grams, but more than that you may start to feel it. So if a stick is 4 or 5 grams heavier, I reject the pair. Also, the stick may vibrate a little, which happens with these exotic woods since they're so hard. They vibrate like that. I, again, do not accept them, and I don't sell them as a working pair. But a lot of these sticks can be given to non-players as gifts. Been doing that for years and years, and they're beautiful and they're functional for those folks. They're good for displays, whatever you want to do with them. And they're still just as beautiful as any other stick that I make. The only thing is I wouldn't, myself play with them, so I don't expect anyone else who's a professional or a student to do that. So we'll go through some of these today. I'll show you some different woods as well as some different tips that I've made over the years. And I have many, many of these. This is just a small sample. And I sell quite a few of these. They're half price from my regular price. So if a stick is normally, $60, it'd be $30. If it's a really expensive stick like these Cocobolo rosewood sticks, which can be anywhere from $125 to $150, they'd be half of that. Or less, depending on how many pairs I have. So let's get started. I'm going to grab my cell phone here and use this camera, so it's pretty good. And what we'll do is we will get a little bit of a close-up for you here on these sticks. So here, the first one to the left, that's Cocobolo rosewood with a barrel tip. It's just beautiful figuring on this pair. And then we have right next to that this bloodwood. Actually, no, that's Padauk with a really interesting tip that I was messing around with. And then next to that you have black wenge with the same tip. And then next to that we have a pair of tigerwood with a really elongated tip there, but not as elongated as this zebrawood pair. And let's knock these down. Sometimes they're not even here. There we go. So zebrawood is something I'm going to start using again. I just ordered a bunch. I used to sell quite a bit of this, but these were rejects as far as feel goes. Then now, next to this, you have another pair of Cocobolo. This is a real interesting pair. It's half white sapwood, as you'll see right here, and half of the heartwood, darker red. Pretty. And then we have a pair of leopard wood with the long acorn tip. And then we have a pair of Padauk. It's pretty red. And next to that is bloodwood. So you see the difference between the Padauk and the bloodwood right here. Bloodwood's a little bit lighter than Padauk. And then next to this we have a really interesting pair of Caribbean rosewood, which are actually not too bad, but they were on borderline. I didn't want to sell them as a regular pair. They vibrate a little too much. And then next to that we have a pair of Cocobolo, which are reverse tips. Very pretty pair. And next to that we have a pair of Yellow Heart with a very long, kind of interesting tip I was experimenting with. Never ended up using it. And we have a little bit of a teardrop tip here on a black wenge drum set stick. Sold a lot of these back in the day. I wouldn't recommend it for a drumstick stick, but some guys want to use them. And then we have another pair of bloodwood with barrel tips. And finally, something I made recently, but this pair didn't come out great for playing. It sure looks great. A pair of acorn tip Cocobolo. Pretty. So we'll show you those tips. So I always have a different selection of these display sticks. When I make sticks, what will happen is I get on a roll. I'm in there 10 hours a day, and I'm all set up to do certain tips or certain types of wood. There's different kinds of things I have to do, different tools, different kinds of sharpening, so I have to have a setup going. And I'll just go, and then I'll test every pair of sticks a lot, so I'm playing with them, and if I have any doubts whatsoever, they go in the display stick pile. If one's good, and then one's not as good, or it's pitched different, I'll save that one and try to match it up with another, of the same wood that will work. Otherwise, they go in the display stick pile. So right now I probably have about 20 pairs of these, but it varies up and down. Sometimes I have none, but I've been making a lot of sticks lately, so I do have these. And I do experiment quite a bit, and most of those experiments are failures. That's how I learn, and I've always done that. The next video I'll do will be all the prototypes that I did when I was starting to make sticks. I think you'll find that really interesting. I did that for about 3 years before I tried to sell anything. I was making sticks all the time, and out of cheaper woods, oak, maple, hickory, not anything like this, just to see if it would work. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this answers your questions, which there were a lot of, on these display sticks, and I'll refer everybody to this video in the future. Thanks, and take care.